About 7 months ago, I made a short video talking about the appeal of VTubers. A product of my then recent obsession with this newfound entertainment, I went over a few elements of why I thought VTubers in particular were specifically quite entertaining, particularly with reference to how the fictionalization of this relationship between viewer and performer decreases the voyeuristic sensation and emphasizes the tacit understanding that this is occupying its own unique space. Essentially just its own different unique thing. However, I clearly didn't cover every possible element, nor did I intend to. And if you must ask, yes, I am still very much engaged in the world of VTubers, even if it's not quite as all-consuming as it used to be. The reason I want to follow up to that video is largely because from various comments on the video itself to all throughout the internet, I see a lot of people misunderstanding or mischaracterizing VTubers in ways I honestly just find rather annoying. I don't know how effective this will be to convince those that disagree, but to be frank, I just like talking about the subject, so either way it's a win-win. While I was wasting my water bill on an excessively long shower, singing tracks from West Side Story and reflecting on important philosophical subjects like existence, self, and of course the YouTube content I consume on a regular basis, this particular line came to mind. A fundamental element to the appeal of online creators and public personalities in general is engaging with their narrative. VTubers by design lean in on the narrative, packaging it in a pleasing aesthetic, an aesthetic that furthers that narrative connection. I was originally going to simply tweet this out by itself, but then I thought it sounded too pretentious. That said, I do stand by the idea. Why do we watch what we watch? There are many other elements of varying superficiality here, so don't take me out of context, but when people stick with one particular piece of media for a long time, I do think it is a key aspect. Because of narratives. Take sports for example. A lot of non-sports fans, which does actually include myself, tend to scoff at the idea of being entertained by an exchange of balls. But then you watch a show along the lines of Chihaya Furu and are like, how the hell did they make this lame-ass dated card game the most hyped thing of all time? And while the production plays an integral role, the narrative is why you're hooked. Real-life sports is just the same. Every sports nerd I've ever known knows the key players inside and out. All the drama, team switches, careers cut short, and crazy streaks, that's why people are engaged. I really think a lot of the way we process the world around us works in narratives. Just look at how the history that sticks is told. It's simply more digestible, more emotional, and more engaging. The same holds true for YouTubers. Each installment is like a new entry, not just as an individual piece of entertainment, but as a progression in their character arc. A footnote in the overall journey that you are following of them as a personality. For example, I enjoy Brutal Moose greatly for its videos on their own individual merits, but that's further enhanced by having consumed his content for a long time. Seeing his extreme growth and evolution as a channel, his personality, editing style, running jokes, offhanded anecdotes, all of that informs how I'm engaged with his work. Streamers as a continual broadcast do the same, perhaps even more so, because the appeal is almost always more the creator than the content. I definitely watch at least a couple YouTube channels that mainly hold value for sharing interesting information, but that I have little interest in on any broader level. But it's hard to find any successful streamers that holds true for. Many streamers and their communities even describe certain arcs of their streams as if they were seasons of a TV show. Fans following friends and fallouts, growth and failure, it's that narrative of the individual in as pure a form as I could imagine it ever presented. But, and this is something I mentioned in my other video, that closeness with streamers and their personal arcs can, to me, sometimes feel a bit too close. When it's that raw and open, I'm sure that is part of the appeal, but I think there should be at least some level of disconnect between a viewer and their audience, some clear understanding of separation. There should be a wall, even if it is a small one, and that's what VTubers offer. It's not to say all streamers aren't like this, nor is a VTuber model going to remove that sensation entirely, nor should it, but it is definitely a different experience. That abstraction fundamentally changes the dynamic, and it changes it in a way I think is uniquely enjoyable. I feel the need to repeat this because a lot of people want to hate on the trend and say it doesn't offer anything, which I think is flatly untrue. Sure, some people will lazily bandwagon, as happens with any popular subject, and while I have nothing in particular against it, I do think that if you already have a pre-established internet presence, particularly as an open in front of the camera personality, suddenly adding a VTuber model will more likely hurt the already built up appeal and won't have the unique narrative attributes of a VTuber that exists in that sole context. Even with VTubers VTubers that I might have figured out or heard of their past life or alter ego, that's not how or who I think of them as. There's enough separation to make it distinct, and having that distinction allows the crafting of a narrative that is a mix of fiction and reality, grounded by the human element and elevated by the fictional one. And that's what I mean when I say VTubers by design lean in on the narrative. Fiction is just a collection of more consolidated narratives, so taking the aesthetics of fictional media adds more narrative weight to your journey as a streamer. Not only can you pull from the often fantastical elements of your character for some tongue-in-cheek world building, but it adds a sense of weight and scale to being engaged in the journey of this quote-unquote character. We as a species are obsessed with aesthetics after all, so pairing them to the realness of a live experience hits a unique niche that captures that journey in a visual capacity. Wow, I really do sound pretentious, don't I? This is the part of the video where I'm self-aware so you don't entirely dismiss everything I say. The heart of it is that watching VTubers is passively entertaining, sure, but it's also inspiring. I say this with the detractors in mind, but even more so is my recognition of this ever-growing mindset in the English-speaking VTuber community. With the rapid explosion in popularity of VTubers here, and with such a sudden influx, I've noticed similar annoyances that bug me when it comes to the anime fandom seeping in more and more. I mean, I do simply think that listening to people repeat the same tired joke is about as fun as bashing my skull into a brick wall, like how simp has become not only obnoxious and overused, but has in the process basically lost all meaning. But what with all the simping and the VTuber hole, all these jokes about wasting time, even if it is mostly in jest, it does seem like the anime fandom in particular can't unabashedly enjoy anything without feigning self-shame. I don't think VTubers are a waste of time, and for me at least they've had an unequivocally positive effect on my life. I'm not here to be the joke police, as much as I would like to, but I can't help but think that all these jokes belie an underlying insecurity, and I do wish there was a bit more self-confidence in this community when it comes to what people enjoy and the value it gives them. VTubers are a big reason why I picked back up Japanese after somewhat giving up on it, and while I do need to get back on the grind, I did manage to learn several hundred kanji during that period, so that's certainly not nothing. It's helped motivate me to practice singing, to work on my art, heck, I'm doing a daily comic right now, to make more videos, to just get through a rough day. Watching the growth, seeing their journeys, hearing their stories, and feeling their passion, seeing that all presented in a distinct form, a form that is creatively freeing for the one presenting, and that enhances its appeal and ability to connect. I'm not saying that it's necessarily anything special, but it is special to me. Do not talk to me till I've had my coffee. Okay, now we can talk. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider that like and subscribe button. Maybe give it a thought. If you're wondering why I'm recording this outro with my camera, even though none of the video is camera, it's literally just because I want to show off my Toa hat. Look at it. This took me like 5 months to get, so. But as I said towards the end of the video, I am doing a daily comic on my Twitter. I'd appreciate it if you go check it out. Maybe you enjoy it, maybe you don't. But I'm trying to push myself and try new things. It's on my Twitter at @actualkor. Alongside that, also a very special thank you to all my patrons whose names are on screen now. Thanks again for watching. I'll be trying to post somewhat more frequently in the next few weeks, so look forward to that. And I'll see you in the next one.